fearless activist and luminous storyteller. Netta Walker's presence on screen radiates with authenticity that constantly transcends her performance. As she played Keisha McCullough on All American Homecoming, she crafted a character that speaks to the complexities and richness of Black collegiate life, while challenging mainstream narratives about young Black womanhood. In the delicate balance of life's transitions, she radiates Black joy and unshakable ambition, grounding her friend group with unwavering love while fearlessly pursuing her true passion for dance, a journey that uplifts and reaffirms the hearts of those who cherish her. The third and final season is out now on Netflix, and I am honored to speak with Netta Walker today.
My God, wow, that was such an introduction. That was so kind. Thank you.
All American Homecoming is revolutionary in its celebration of Black collegiate life in the 21st century. And we see the joy, we see the struggle, the community living in Atlanta. This show is for the culture, and you can see that as it builds on the legacy of All American while carving out its really own unique space to honor Black excellence and unity. Netta, from the moment you stepped into season one, what impact did you dream that this series would have on the world? And now, as season three marks the end of this chapter, how do you reflect on the journey and the legacy that this show leaves behind?
Wow. Oh, what a question. I always hoped that a show about HBCUs would not only amplify the culture to the world, but encapsulate the nuances and the varying types of Blackness in these spaces. That's something that I always found so valuable. I was raised in the South. My brother went to an HBCU. I was raised going to Florida for like football games. I went to watch our big HBCU bands play. And I just remember thinking, like, this is Black excellence. And the thing that I really, really wanted for the show to showcase in the long run was to showcase that Black excellence looks different in so many different ways and so many different bodies and can be embodied and represented beautifully through just embracing those differences. And now, like, looking back on it, I never could have imagined how big it would have been. I just flew back from San Diego yesterday, and as a Black and Filipino woman, growing up in the South, it was sometimes hard to find my place. Um, Cultures are just so different, and sometimes you feel othered. But when doing the show, I was hoping that just by being who I am and coming from where I came from, that it would inspire people. And I just flew back from San Diego yesterday, and I had one of the most unbelievable experiences. It's crazy you're asking about this, but I was about to get on the plane, and a young Black and Filipino man walked up to me who was like going into the Navy, and he was like, I'm flying to Chicago right now. And I'm from a military family as well. And he was like, hi, I knew who you were immediately. I'm Black and Filipino. I love this show. I've been watching it since season one. My sister's Black and Filipino. This means so much to me. He was like, I'm shaking. Can I give you a hug? Can you just like record a video for my sister? And I've never experienced something like that in my life before. But in terms of like something that I want, it's looking at someone who's Black and Filipino and be like, oh, like we are our own main characters. Like we are these characters that are worthy of these conversations, and we do embody Black excellence, and we do fit into this mold. And there's something so beautiful about being able to embrace that and be embraced by that in a world like All American in this universe, and exploring what that means, and just making sure other people feel seen on screen. I've always wanted to be someone that like created a space for other people to know that they are worthy of being seen. And I don't know if I necessarily always felt that way. So one thing that I'm really impacted by now, looking back on these last three seasons, is knowing that there are kids who look like me who now know that they fit in, not only to like mainstream media, but like they don't have to justify their Blackness. They don't have to justify their like they don't have to fight to be seen, that they are just seen and represented. And I hope that that continues on. But I'm honored to look back on it and be like, wow, we really got to do 3 seasons of that exploration and showcasing someone so nuanced. She was a woman that, like, not just my character, not just Keisha, but like all of these characters were so nuanced and real, and they went through really challenging experiences and did their best with what they had, which is all we can ever do. And I really love getting to represent that. I'm very thankful for it.
Wow. The impact. You can see that the impact that this show has had. I love that so much. I love how you said that all of these characters went through really challenging times and they constantly persevered. And there's something powerful about the way that you shaped Keisha's journey. A young woman navigating her identity, her dreams, her relationships with such compelling vulnerability. And you said that you're thankful to know the character Keisha. She's a gorgeously flawed young woman, and you've learned through her how much of your own journey of self-discovery has influenced the way that you breathe life into Keisha. And in turn, how has embodying her transformed you and resonated with your personal experiences?
Yeah, beautiful question. It was really, I always joked that I felt like NK had ops on me while we were like prior to ever doing the show, because so many of Keisha's experiences and so many of the things that she had to work through, like the conversation around the loss of a parent, what it means to pursue a dream whenever there's this other dream your parents have for you, and fighting to do the thing you love. I lost my father when I was 21 years old, so getting to play this role and explore what that meant, and also in this most recent season, seeing Simone go through all of her journeys with cancer. I lost my father to cancer. It all felt very therapeutic in a way, to like look back and say, Keisha at this point was 21, 22, and I was around that age while I was really grappling with what that grief felt like. So it felt like I got to go back and like hug a younger version of myself and say, like, hey, other people will be able to watch this journey and know that they're not alone in this. And you may have felt alone in this moment, but like you're not. And it's seen, and you have people that love you and understand you. And that was really beautiful for me to get to explore in my own body. I also was just really lucky to like explore a character who was Black and Asian. I don't feel like I often get to see that. You see a lot of different biracial characters on TV and everything, but I never really saw a Black and Asian woman on screen that wasn't used as a joke in the early 2000s, especially. Like you look back at like Bring It On, like movies we love, but every time you saw a Black and Asian woman, it was like a joke. And it was one of the first times I ever felt like, oh no, my existence is not just a butt of a joke or like fodder for a story. I am my own story. And that was really healing for me as a young woman, being like, oh, well, no, there's value to what I have to say. And there's value to my culture. And we really got to explore what that culture was in season 1, episode 7, which is a very, very important episode to me. Um, it really felt like I was getting to like transport myself back to me at 21. And if I could show her what we got to do over the last 2 years and be like, hey, you may be struggling, girl, but look at what that struggle comes to be. Like look what it comes into fruition as. You'll be thankful that you got to go through that journey, and that now other people who may have gone through or are going through that journey will know that they're not alone. That in itself is very healing for me. Um, and the process of learning how to do TV was so exciting. I'd never done this before. I started in theater in Chicago, and I didn't have a lot of confidence in what this new genre of work was going to be. And then finding my footing and getting to stand there and be like, no, girl, you can do this. You can do whatever you want to put your mind to. And if you got to hang out with that like 7-year-old girl that's inside of you and showed her not only what you did with this show, got to tell her like, no, you were shooting on a Hollywood set. Like, girl, you're good. You're capable. You're worthy. It was just so healing. Everything about this process was so healing, and I felt vindicated in a way, in terms of like a lot of the hardships I'd gone through. I come from a family that really believes you aren't given anything that you cannot handle or that you're not meant to handle. And life can be hard sometimes, but a lot of those things that you're given that are hardships are only preparing you for something greater in the future. And at that point in my life, in my early 20s, I felt like things were really, really hard. And now I'm like, no, you had to go through all of that so that you could come in and do something like the show and stand 10 toes down and be like, no, I do think this, that, or the other. Or like, I will argue for Keisha every day of the week. The arguments we'd have on set about season 3, like Keisha and JR, I'd be like, but y'all don't get it. Like, I remember being 21 and like lost, and you don't understand. My girl is struggling. Like, I'll fight for her. It's cool getting to fight for her.
Wow. I love that you were able to heal through your art. That is so powerful. And I
The
know
best.
it is the best. And I know a lot of artists were called to something for a reason. And when we're able to just be present with our art and our craft, that it does things
Yeah.
beyond our imagination.
Actually, though, yeah,
In season 3, we see Keisha step into the world of street dancing as NuNu, a
sure.
persona, a persona that gives her a space for raw, authentic self-expression. And Keisha is keeping this part of herself hidden from those closest to her. And I really think that that speaks volumes about her journey and the vulnerability tied to embracing her true self.
Yeah.
Netta, when do you know that it's time to start over and prioritize yourself to your true calling, regardless of what anyone has to say? Because that could be hard sometimes.
Yeah.
How how have you learned to advocate for your own well-being and create space and grace for renewal?
The journey. I'm still learning. I'm still fighting myself and my inner dialogue of being like, don't cause any problems, don't cause any waves. And I think as Black women in America, that's something that we're consistently being taught. Like, we have to put ourselves in pockets to not be the problem causers, because what will they say about me if I tell them I don't want to do this or I don't feel comfortable with that? And more recently, I've definitely just kind of, especially with what's just been going on in the world, I'm like, life's too short. Life is too short for me to put myself through a struggle that I don't want to agree with. To, if I'm like, no, listen, this is not my ministry, this is not for me. Let me just be real with you in that, and can you respect me? And that's the thing that I've like started to really settle with, is like stating like, no, these are my boundaries. This is what I'm not comfortable with. Can you respect that? And by phrasing it in that way for people, I've realized that that's been really helpful for me in terms of respecting my own boundaries, because I am asking myself that too. I'm like, can I respect me? And that's what I keep coming back to. It's like, instead of always wondering if somebody, or being mad that other people aren't respecting me, it's like, can I respect me? Period. So if I'm going to say, yeah, I can respect me, can you respect me? Can you respect my decision? And that's been really, really, really helpful in me feeling the power in figuring out how to do that particularly. And that's what I often revisit. That's usually it. And that's been a long journey and it's an ongoing, steady journey. My psychotherapist and I love to talk about boundaries. Okay, it's a huge thing. I'm a serial people pleaser. I have a history of doing that. And getting older, I'm definitely just kind of like, yeah, life is just way too short to be doing things I don't feel like sit well with me or I don't agree with anymore. And like the reshifting gears in that aspect of your question, I've started to tell myself to do things before I'm ready. Um, I think I definitely had more of a fire under me when I was younger to just be like, okay, well, maybe I'm not ready, but I'm going to try it and do trial by fire anyways. And I'm reminding myself now, like, trial by fire can honestly be the way to do it. Like a phoenix, I will rise. Like, if I burn in this, the ashes will rise. Okay. And that's fine. If it doesn't go well, I now know that and I know what to do in the future to make this a better circumstance. So yeah, I feel like jumping in 2 feet first and just being like, okay, I'm not ready, but I'm gonna try to figure out how to swim. And I will survive it because I trust me, because I know I'm about it. You know what I mean?
Mm, mm, mm.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes to everything. I I resonate with that so much. Boundaries are truly self-respect, and I totally hear you on that. And it is a journey for sure. To say the least, it's a journey.
it is, especially in a world where like I said, Black women are consistently asked to respect other people and their boundaries before we have to respect our own, or worry about how other people are going to perceive us asking them to respect our boundaries. And I'm just reaching that point where I'm like, why do I care?
That part.
That part.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You have found ways to create your own spaces to showcase your wondery, whether it was your play Kira about the mortality of art and the ambiguity between the line of cruelty and the truth and the soul-wrenching work of writing truthfulness and what that takes for someone to do. And it seems like we're in this world searching for truth, but lies win hearts and they also change minds. And
Yeah. Yeah. That part.
what did showcasing that truth take out of you? And what does truth telling look like for you? What is your hope for your future in creating truthful and meaningful stories in your art as you delve deeper into television and theater and film?
Oh my God. First and foremost, quoting my play to me, that's crazy. Never in my life has that happened before, and I'm honored. Oh my God. Um, that's so wild. Uh, in terms of like truth telling, something I'm now journeying into what it means to be a writer, because I realized being an actor is a very scary thing, but it is something that I feel very safe in a way. I wasn't a very emotionally expressive child, so acting gives me an opportunity to open the doors of emotion and just like do it without there being real repercussions, if that makes sense. No real life repercussions at the least. Writing, however, is maybe the scariest thing I've ever done in my life. Truth telling through, or trying to tell a truth, my truth, or a universal truth that I perceive in writing is undeniably scarier than what it means to be an actor. Both elements are subjective, absolutely, but I feel like there are more guidelines to what good writing looks like. And I mean, you have those within acting, but acting is so unbelievably subjective. I realize that because writing scares me so much, I think it's the thing I need to do more of. Which is why I've been like forcing myself to do more of it and taking classes and challenging myself on what that level of expressing my truth means. But it is like really, really scary. Like maybe the scariest and most like, I don't know, gut wrenching thing I've done with myself, because you read your plays back, or you have other people read them and you get feedback, or you listen to actors read your stuff back and you're like, did I really just make you say that? Like, that's crazy that I thought that that would make sense. Oh my God. Time to flog, like self flagellation on its way, which is insane because it's easier to not do that as an actor, especially when you do stage. I feel like it's a bit easier if you, I try not to watch anything I do if it's been like TV or film, because I don't like the inner critic. I'm still making friends with that inner critic, but I also think I must make friends with that inner critic because that inner critic's going to propel me to be better. Um, it's a scary thing, man. I don't know. It's a really hard question, and I think that that's going to be hopefully the journey for the rest of my life and whatever other variation of career I pursue. But the thing that makes me the most excited when it comes to telling truth is continuing to do things that scare me. Like like as an actor, writing scripts, maybe one day directing. I produced for the first time this last year. I produced a short starring Martin, Bob, Simple, and I that will be out in the next year. So everyone get ready for that.
Ooh, okay, okay.
But like it's just doing the things where you're like, oh, wait, but that level of self-expression is so exciting. And I would love to try it, know more, but it's unbelievably scary. That's what makes me feel excited in terms of trying to figure out what truth is and how to express truth. And there's a book that I talk about all the time. It's one of my favorites. It's called The Art of Cruelty by Maggie Nelson. And I recommend it to everyone because I think that the most honest, truthful, and impactful art is a little cruel in a way, whether it be for the artists themselves to create it or the subject matter with which they're talking about. There is an element of pain that comes with that level of truth that I think is so important, which is why whenever I'm writing something and I'm like, oh, I hate myself for writing that, I'm also like, am I hating myself because I feel like it's a little too exposing of the internal world that I'm actually having? Or am I hating myself because I don't enjoy the it consistently asking myself those questions. And when I see art that I feel is challenging, also asking myself, like, why did I really dislike that part? Like, what about that specific thing made me feel so angry or frustrated or bothered? Why did that feel particularly cruel to me? And is it because it's anchored in some level of truth that I don't agree with or I don't like or makes me uncomfortable? Because I think some of the best art makes you uncomfortable. So that's why I'm like, I have to continue to pursue this thing that scares me, no matter what that form is. And right now, the thing that scares me most is writing. It's so scary. And I'm really liking it. I'm really, really liking it. I'm like, come on, space exploration. This might as well be it for me because I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I am thankful to get to do it, you know?
Ooh, getting comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I've learned so much from you today.
Oh,
Netta
please
Walker.
don't play with me. Don't play with me.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. Netta Walker, thank you so much for expressing your truth and sharing your truth with us today. Your work continues to expand our understanding of what is possible in storytelling and representation, which is so important in this day and age. And through Keisha and through your own personal and powerful presence in this industry, you remind us that Black joy is revolutionary and vulnerability takes strength. And I cannot wait to see your next evolution as an artist and as a storyteller. All American Homecoming, the third and final season, is available now on Netflix. Netta, thank you.
Oh my God, Kennedy, thank you so much.
I'm gonna tell everyone right now, grab the girls, grab the guys, bring them out, watch it from season one to season three, okay? And there's gonna be some crazy surprises. So
Come on, season three especially. Come on, come through.
yes,
All
yes.
right,
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank
Kennedy,
you
that's
so much.
amazing. Thank you so much. Your questions were unbelievable. Those are like, I'm touched. I'm
Oh,
touched. Thank you.
thank you. That means a lot. I feel like this is my purpose and
It is.
thank you.
It,
I'm emotional.
like it is. Those were look, I've done an interview or four or five, you know what I mean? And the
Mhm.
questions were like, thank you. I feel very seen. I feel very seen. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you. The goal is to make to show everyone like the range of being a human, you know, like it's so complex, but if we can find connection and resonance within other people's stories, I just feel like that's so powerful to just heal and transform what we're all going through. And I just want to create conscious conversations in this space, and that is what I'm trying to do. So just the fact that you agreed seriously means the world to me. Thank you.
Oh, girl, absolutely. You ate this up. This is your purpose. I can't wait to see what else you do. I can't wait to see how crazy your career is about to get. Like just in general. I'm like, no, you're very good at this. Congratulations. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Congratulations to you and to everybody involved in the project. And I can't wait to talk to you again soon.
Yeah, I'm so excited. On the next one. On the next
Yeah,
one,
on the next one.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I
Thank
love it. Thank
you.
you. I hope you have a beautiful and safe rest of your weekend and enjoy.
Yeah, you too, girl. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Take care. Bye.